And welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing it to you here from Westlake Village, California. It is another absolutely beautiful Monday morning, and I want to jump right into Bitcoin's price action and start out on the shorter term time frames on the 4-hour, and we will confirm another higher, or not a higher low, a lower low, but bullish divergence, with any kind of a closure here or higher above this wick. If you're more conservative, you're going to wait for a closure above 16,310. And at a minimum, I would be looking at a move probably up to the 618, coming in at 16.5, oddly enough. And this is the question I would pose on Twitter today is, do you think the gap's going to get filled? CME futures opened up down with a strong closure below a critical level at 16,100, indicating more downside action in the short term. Did not get any follow through. To me, looks like gap fill is more likely than not right now at the moment. However, here's what the Fed said this morning. Susan Collin, the Fed chair, said this, that they're going to be raising rates and holding them their high for as long as the market can take it. What do you guys think that means? And don't quote me directly. They're going to hike rates up, and they're going to do it for as long as the market can handle it. And then you got the Morgan Stanley guy coming out today. Jack Manley said the stock market's got 20% downside risk. You've got the COVID lockdown starting up in China. They're saying people are dying from COVID. Funny, I think I got the immunity. Some more people got it that I was in close contact with last week. And certainly I am not sick. So thank God for that. I got COVID one time and kind of went away like a cold. It was a bad cold. It wasn't fun. But anyways, I'm going to leave you with that on the story there. And Jack Manley, 20% downside in stocks. So what would that look like for the stock market after having a bit of a rally? And we did say very, very likely this confirmed bearish divergence on this candle right here, stuttering and holding above the pivot. But as soon as we lose this, which I imagine we will, with just another hair of bad economic data, and that would give us a shot back to the bottom side of the range after, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. So first target, bottom side of the range at 10,728. And off the 4-drive philosophy, we would be looking at a target at the 1618 at 99.23. So we're talking about a 14% move in the cards coming into holidays, coming into Thanksgiving. Do I think it's going to happen right now? Well, I think it all bears, all eyes need to be attentive upon our good old friend, Mr. Dixie. And what do we say? Just rolling it back a little bit. We had the 4 drives of hidden bearish divergence, which gives you, based off the 4-drive philosophy, let's see, it would be, would that be 4 drives? Conservatively, it would be 2. Do we have an additional drive from anywhere back here is the question. Yes, we do. We have a slew coming all the way back from this pivot right here of lower highs in RSI and higher highs in price. 1, 2, call it 3 drives gives you a shot to the bottom side of the range, which is pretty much this level at 103. So there is potentially some more downside in the cards for the dollar, but I do think it is picking itself up here. And we did say daily hidden bullish divergence would be confirmed with this candle close back here. And we have been targeting a shot back to this green box for the US dollar since the past couple of days. I know we had a long weekend and we did hold this line in the sand, or this little green box of peace and prosperity. So if you want to goose the odds in the favor of the bears, as the dollar goes up, stocks go down, Bitcoin typically goes down. So I'd say a point for the bears there. And I am bullish for a short-term bounce. As long as we are below this pivot at 109.83, though, pressure is onto the downside. And, you know, the next lower low would come into this trend line somewhere around here. And I do think that is worst case scenario for the dollar. And that would provide definitely a nice rally for stocks. So we're kind of in no man's land, middleman land right now. And meanwhile, you've got this guy, the FTX hackers, now actively dumping Ethereum on chain. He's dumped 15 million ETH in the past 30 minutes. I forgot how many ETH over the weekend. Still holding 270 million worth of ETH in the main wallet. Funny, they can track where the wallet is, but I guess they can't get the guy. And he's selling ETH to buy wrapped Bitcoin. So another Ethereum type product. I don't know why he's doing it, but just thought I'd give you that update there. Another update, interesting enough, while all this is going on in the background, what is JPMorgan doing? JPMorgan files for a wallet with the United States of America Patent of Trademark Offices. What is this wallet for? Are they going to be taking donations for financial freedom in Bitcoin? No. Financial services, namely providing electronic transfer of virtual currencies, providing electronic transfer of virtual currencies for use by members of an online community via a global computer network, financial exchange of virtual currencies, cryptocurrency payment processing, credit and cash card payment processing and service charge cards. So it looks like not only do they want to have a wallet and do payments, but guess what? They also want to have some kind of exchange and provide services in multiple languages and currencies, virtual payments, account creation. Oh my gosh. Loans, cash, credit card payments, the whole 9 yards. Yep, that's what is coming. All right. Underlying market dynamics as well that we wanted to take a look at for Bitcoin really quick. We got the open interest here. No, excuse me. Funding rate slightly positive. So it is costing you to go long at the moment. We want to see those get extremely negative and hold there for, you know, at least a couple days for a bottom to be put in. Open interest, I do believe as open interest goes up, you know, typically you expect price to go in the direction of the trend. That being said, don't quote me on that one. Leverage ratio is... You know, we had a full reset on the leverage ratio. As you can see by this blue line here, we are at all-time highs and coming down, you know, kind of making a new low and a lower high. And so is some more leverage going to come off the board? Who knows? And that's it for the dollar. So critical levels for Bitcoin. We were starting it out on the 4-hour. And any kind of a 4-hour closure back above 16.3 is going to confirm how many drives of bullish divergence, hidden bullish divergence, which is not a continuation of the trend. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And that could get us a pretty significant bounce all the way up to $17,000. How would I mediate that? Yeah, with the 4-hour closure above 16.3, and I would be looking at a first stop at 16.6 and probably a shot at the top side of the range again one more time, and that would fill the gap for CMEs here. So 4-hour closure incoming for CMEs, and will remain down below 16,329. I'm noticing maybe spot price and CMEs are coming into parity once again, about $100 premium over spot, under spot. Spot's carrying over CMEs right now. And so that's the 4-hour. What else I want to check in? The 2-day volatility signature is still intact, and we'll confirm this today as another lower high with any kind of a closure below $16,000. And that you'd assume continuation of the trend, right? You know, we've got a lower high, lower low, lower high, and continuation of the trend. What does the 3-day say? Is going to be crossed down as long as we're below 18,440, and the 5-day is crossed down currently at as long as we're below 16.3, and I do believe that that is going to be a pretty critical pivot on the market, as the daily is putting in a bit of a, call it a pencil candle. What do you want to call it? A doji? I think that's what they call it, but that the day is not closed yet, and I was just seeing this. You notice any kind of a daily closure back above here will be back above the 618 at 16,338, and would cross Stokes all the way back up, and we have a volatility reset on the daily time frame, which we are not back at the lows, but low enough. So as this begins to expand again, you expect the price to go in the direction of the trend. And Stokes are way down here. So can they get lower? Absolutely. That was the August 22 lows, and then the June lows right there. So perhaps they catch a bid when the Stokes get down there at the 6, and the RSI kind of having a bearish reset. And we did have several drives of hidden bearish divergence. Price is making lower highs. RSI is making higher highs than this high. And that gave us a shot to the bottom side of the range. 3 drives is, yep. And this is going to be critical as well. Again, that 618 pivot and pretty much this trend line. So we broke below it. Is it going to be a fake out? I'd mediate that with a closure back above 16,333. And however, these will remain down. So if we put in some kind of a lower high in this region, then that does goose the odds to the downside further alongside stocks and the dollar bouncing. So pretty important week here today, and Thanksgiving coming up. Hope you guys all have an awesome week. And again, I'm hearing all kinds of targets across the interwebs here, and ideas out there. What's, more likely than not, the market's going to do the opposite of everything, of what everybody else is thinking. And right now, there are more shorts than longs. Sorry about that. So getting back to it here, 12-hour closure back above 16.3, also going to goose the favors in the odds of a bullish bounce. Same thing with the 4-hour. We'll cross up here from a low level above 16,214. Got another hour left on that candle. And the hourly. So this, 16.3 pivot is going to be critical here, I do believe. Volatility is expanding, now it's contracting. So we had the first expansion, right? As volatility expanded, price took a nice little dump. Took us a while to get below that pivot. Still not below the 16.1 area, but down 3%, right? Now volatility reset, and you can see as Stokes crossed up, Bitcoin has been traveling sideways for the last pretty much 6 hours here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours. Call it 9 hours. So yeah, going back about 5 o'clock yesterday, 6 o'clock. Maybe it was 8 or 9 o'clock. I don't know. I was watching Bitcoin all yesterday and just taking a look here to get an idea on what these markets are going to do for this coming week. And I do believe, again, the dollar and the stock market are going to play an important role, pivot in what happens to Bitcoin this week. I do think any kind of bullishness in the dollar or bearishness in the stock market is going to, basically impact or hurt Bitcoin more. And then we can talk about some of the downside targets that we are hearing out in the interwebs. And I'll just quickly put on some of the good old drawing tools. I wonder what that line is from. Let's pull up another Bitcoin chart. No, this is the tried and true. So I'll just stick with this. Volatility reset on the daily. And yeah, we were going to talk about targets for the downside on the macro scale, which the 5-day time frame, Stokes are still crossed down, and we're putting in some wicks right here, filling in the wick. I personally think we need to see pretty much immediate continuation. Any kind of a tick back above 17.2 is going to line up for a greater bounce. And as we know, there's a lot of shorts in the position. So, you know, could there be a bit of a short squeeze and a bounce up to this green box? I absolutely think so. 18.5 to 19. And that's just going to be the 0.5 to the 618 fib, where your lower highs like to come in. And so, again, bigger targets to the downside that we had been talking about for some time. Probably going to line up something with, you know what I notice a lot, guys, is the wicks are used. This is where the big orders get filled. People don't have their stops in. And these trend lines tend to hold relatively long. Now, if that does break, that'll be very, very bad. Yeah, that's the 8,500 pivot. Anyways, back to some of our macro targets here. This is right in line with the 618 fib and a target of about 9,700 bucks, and that would be right in there with the average move. Would that be? No, that'd be a little bit greater than the average move. For the 5-day volatility is typically about 49%. When we get expansion off of the lows, we are getting expansion right now above the 20 percentile. So pretty much signal is initiated. Stokes are crossed to the downside. So we just want to see one more closure. Wow, on today's 5-day, below 17.7. Today is the 5-day on spot price, and that will goose the odds further into the bear's court. And the average move, again, on a 5-day volatility expansion signature is about 49%. We are only 23% into this move, and I think the average days is going to be something like 30 days. So we probably got another week left for this move to take place, as we are 15 days. Yeah, so another 2 weeks left for this move to take place and volatility to continue to expand. And really, I want to see it above that 35%. Take out the last high. And that would let me know, hey, something is going to continue. More likely than not. Okay, Ethereum. So that's the big macro target to the downside for Bitcoin. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. And TA is not an exact science. It's more of an art form. So we'd be really, really lucky to hit that target, you know, over some time. It's not going to happen in one day. But for Ethereum, if we do the same thing, yeah, it just doesn't even work because it's just too much downside. So you have to consolidate. How about based off of this range right here? Because this has pretty much been the range, yeah. So from this pivot down, and that gives you a target all the way down here, coming in at 513 based off of this consolidation. If we do get a 5-day closure back below pretty much this pivot right here, does goose the odds. And we've been looking for about the $1,000 ticket to get hit. 1,085. We did hit that target to a T, bounced off it very nicely. And I believe that was off of this fib retracement. Yep. So as you can see, the fibs definitely work as we hit that pivot. Huge bounce. If we do decide to break it, well, you know, next level's down. I mean, pretty much got air between here and there, right? So we're bouncing off the 2018 highs. And if we do begin to take these regions out, as you can see, there's not much to go below here. So that's it for Ethereum. Showing you the downside targets on the shorter term time frame. It does look like it wants to bounce more than not. And you would be putting in, nope, you would not have bullish divergence there. But you would have a drive coming back from this pivot right here, as price is making a lower low and RSI is making a higher low. So I think it's, you know, are we going to stay caught in this range, you know, between 1,300 and about $1,000 for for the next couple of weeks, or is Bitcoin going to break down right now and we're going to give it up and kind of break this $1,080? Because once that level is broken, I think the next stop is somewhere around 840, between 900 and 850, something like that. That's it. And where does invalidation come? Well, daily closure today, you know, again, I think the pivot is going to be 1150 on Ethereum. And that would be probably the 4-hour pivot as well. Yep, that would confirm this as a higher low. And perhaps we get a run back at the green box here. I do believe that pressure is onto the downside as long as we're below 1250. And really the 618 on this retracement here would be, yep, as long as we're below 1250, which is the 618, then pressure is onto the downside. And that's it for Mr. Ethereum. And again, I think Ethereum's going to do whatever Bitcoin does, but more. Notice Ethereum has not taken out the June lows yet. So when this thing does get going, I think it's going to get going pretty fast. And you can see volatility is expanding. We are crossing down. We'll cross up above 1311 today. So if we do remain in a downside posture on the 5-day today for both Bitcoin and for Ethereum, that will goose the odds in a bit more of a downside continuation over the next 5 days. We will be following that closure tomorrow and going over some of the economic data today. Interesting also point for the recessionary, you know, people that are so they're in denial that we're in a recession. So not only is the 3-month bond yield inverted over the 10-year, so is the 2-year, right? The 3-month is a dead giveaway of a recession, but now the 1-month has even inverted. So all the way down, and notice some T-bills today, 2-year notes at 4.5%, 6-month note at 4.5%. 5-year notes, 4.1%, 3-month at 4%. So it's just odd that you'd be getting a 3-month bill at the same rate as a 5-year, right? That doesn't make sense. Or a 6-month, you get paid more for a 6-month than you do for a 5-year. Doesn't make sense. You know, for a shorter period of time, you should get paid less, right? All right. What else did I want to bring up? So we're at 16.1 on Bitcoin. NASDAQ's at 37. Dow's the only one holding it up. And that, I do believe, you know, if we start to lose this region at 33,000, which in fact I think we will, and we break back down in here, bad for Mr. Dow Jones. And you'll have those 2 drives of, actually, yeah, is it 3 drives? Yep. It'll be 3 drives of hidden bearish divergence, which in a downtrend, that would be continuation of a trend. And at a minimum, you know, if you're bullish, right, you're looking for a higher low somewhere around here. So that would be my first target on Mr. NASDAQ. So any kind of a lower high in this region, which we'll confirm today with any kind of a closure below 33,137. Oddly enough, the daily is grinding up against the top side of the bullish control zone. So that is more of a bullish sign, and typically that will break up to the upside. But what's the economic data coming out tomorrow that we need to be aware of? Tomorrow. All right, Chicago Fed. I think we have another speaker tomorrow. We've got more treasury bills sold tomorrow. So nothing tomorrow. Is that today? That's today. I believe we've got another jobless. The red book's coming out. 7-year notes at 4%. Wow. More Fed speeches tomorrow. Crude oil stock change. Is there any high? Okay, let's go with this week. I know we got jobless reports. We got jobless claims coming out again. It seems like they do these every couple of days. So high. It's going to be a short week, guys. This week with no economic data. 6 month. No. I don't see anything, guys. So maybe we have no bad economic data coming up. So we're just going to float on up to the moon here through the rest of the week, and everybody's going to have a happy Thanksgiving. Those 401ks are going to be like 501ks by the time we're done. Anyways, hope you have a blessed and highly favored day, and check back in with us tomorrow. Take care.